Hello everyone, myself Ved Prakash, Assistant Professor. From today onwards, I am going to deal switchgear and protection for your current semester. Before going to the subject, in this video, I will cover total introduction to the switchgear and protection subject. Already we know the power systems can be divided into different parts, like power systems 1 and power systems 2 and PSA and PSOC and SGP. PS1 means power systems 1. Okay, already we are all studied in the second year, I think. This power system 1 is totally related to power generation by using conventional energy sources like thermal, nuclear power plants. Okay, and coming to the next, power systems 2. Power systems 2 is totally related to power transmission and distribution. In those subjects, we have studied about types of conductors, transmission line modeling and transmission line losses, and traveling waves, insulators, string efficiency, sag. In the case of PS2 subject. Okay. In case of PS1, we have studied about power system generation. In the case of PS2, we have studied about transmission and distribution, how we can transmit the power from generating stations to consumer premises. Okay, that is the total subject regarding PS1 and PS2 we have studied in the past semesters. But now SGP, switchgear and protection. Okay, and another subject is PSA, power system analysis. In this chapter of power system analysis, we are studied about fault analysis. And fault analysis means we have to calculate the fault current and fault impedance and equivalent circuits. Okay, and this is one of the power system subject. And next one is PSOC, power system operation and controller. This subject is totally related to control strategies. How can you control the power flow and frequency control strategies? Those are all comes under the subject PSOC. I think this subject is also coming in the semester. We are all studied PSOC subject also in parallel with SGP. And the last one is SGP. SGP means switchgear and protection. This subject is totally related to power systems. Already we know. In the all past semesters, we are well studied about power system generation, power system transmission and distribution, and control strategies. Okay, and how can you find out the fault currents and how to analyze the fault. But in this semester, we will know complete idea about SGP, switchgear and protection. That means what are the different equipments used for protection and how to protect the every electrical equipment like transformers and motors. Okay, already we know there are different types of electrical equipments, motors, transformers. Okay, now this chapter gives the complete explanation, complete idea about protective equipments, protective circuits. That means how can you protect the motor, or how can you protect the transformer, or how can you protect the every electrical equipment. In this video, I will cover what is switchgear, what is the main objective of SGP, and what is the need of protection and applications of protective equipments. Finally, we will see the syllabus given by the university and what are the important topics those are useful for GATE, PSUs and other competitive exams and research areas. Now we will see what is meant by switchgear and what are the equipments used in switchgear. Okay, na? First of all, we have to see what is meant by switchgear. The apparatus used for switching, controlling and protecting electrical equipment is known as switchgear. Okay, that means the apparatus used for switching means we have to put off and put on the supply. Okay na? And the apparatus used for controlling, that means we have to control the power flow. Okay, and next one is apparatus used for protecting, that means apparatus used for protecting means circuit breakers, isolators, and switches. Okay na? Those are the equipments, some of the equipments to protect the electrical equipments. Okay na? Those all three things can be called as switch gear. Okay na? Once again we will see the apparatus used for switching, controlling, and protecting electrical equipment is known as switch gears. Now we will see what are the equipments comes under the switch gear. Switch gear includes switches, isolators, fuses, circuit breakers, and their auxiliary equipments like relays, CT, PT. CT means current transformer, PT means potential transformer, and indicating instruments. Indicating instruments means digital voltmeters, digital ammeters, analog instruments. Analog instruments means analog voltmeter and analog ammeter, and lighting arresters. And so many equipments are there. We will see in the coming classes. I think we're all. I think we are all know well. I think we are all well know about these equipments, switches, isolators, fuses, circuits, because these are all comes under the power systems 1. Already we are all studied in the first semester. I think in the second year first semester we are studied about those things. But once again I will reveal each and every equipment whatever present here. And first one we will see the first isolators. What is meant by isolator? An isolator is a no load mechanical switch, and that completely separates the supply from the network. Or isolator is used to isolate the fraction of electrical circuits or fraction of electrical networks when it is required. That is called isolator. Isolator is nothing but a switch generally used in high rating equipments, high rating circuits. But there is small difference between switch and isolator. Coming to the switch, switch is only used to interrupt the supply and put on and put off the supply. But isolator is somewhat different than switches. Isolator is a no load switch, only operated under no load conditions only, and to separate the equipment from the supply. Okay na? That is the meaning of isolator, and that is the difference between switches and normal switches and isolators. Okay, and for that isolators we will see the small circuit diagram. For suppose we have to take one bus bar arrangement, single bus bar arrangement with sectionalization. Here we can see this is the one of the, you can see here this is the diagram for single bus bar arrangement with sectionalization. Here this is the bus bar. Okay, bus bar can be divided into two sections by using isolators. This is the isolator 1 and this is the isolator 2. The total bus bar can be divided into two sections. Okay, and this is the circuit breaker, and this is the generating stations, and this is the generating station, and this is the generating station, and this is one of the generating station, and this is the one of the generating stations. And incoming feed, those are all called as incoming lines, and these are all called as outgoing lines. Okay, incoming lines and outgoing lines. And this is the bus bar. For example, the bus bar can be supplied by using one of the alternator from these four. That means if the bus bar is operated only by using this alternator, for example, the alternator output is 33 kV. Alternator output is 33 kV. This 33 kV can be supplied to the bus bar, total bus bar. That means the total bus bar will be operated with 33 kV. operated with 33 kV. Okay na. This 33 kV can be supplied to the different villages or different industries. Okay, this is the one outgoing line, and this one is the another outgoing line, and this one is the another outgoing line, and this one is the another outgoing lines. There are 4 outgoing lines here. Okay, now if in case any fault occurs on the bus bar, if for example the fault occurs in the bus bar here, this is the symbol for fault. Okay, if the fault occurs here, what happens, this circuit will may damage, and that time we have to remove this circuit from the supply. If we can't remove the circuit from the supply system, then this fault effect will dangerously affect on the healthy section also. Okay na? That is the reason we have to remove the faulty section. For that removing the faulty section, we have to use isolator. This is the isolator, we all know. By using this isolator, we can remove the total faulty section from the system. Okay na? By opening the isolator, we can see here isolator, this is the isolator. Just we can put off the isolator. Whenever we can put off the isolator, the total faulty section can be separated from the healthy section, and the total faulty section can be removed from the circuit. Okay na? That is the main use of isolator, the main function of isolator. It completely removes the faulty section from the healthy section or supply system, or to isolate the electrical networks. This is the one of the electrical network, healthy section, and this is the another electrical network. This isolator isolates the 2 electrical circuits, faulty section and healthy section. Now there is no fault effect on the healthy section. That is the main function of isolator. But in the case of switch is nothing but a power control device. Just it is used to interrupt the power supply. Okay na? That is the main function of isolator. This is the single bus bar arrangement. This is also present in the power systems 1, bus bar arrangement systems, substations chapter. We are all studied about different types of bus bar arrangements, single bus bar arrangement and single bus bar arrangement with sectionalization. Okay. In the past semester we are studied about those all things, but here I am saying about only isolators by taking this example. Now coming to the another device, current transformer. What is the main function of current transformer and potential transformer? Current transformer can be indicated with CT and potential transformer can be indicated with PT. What is the main function of CT and PT? Already we are studied in the measurement subject, I think. Current transformer and potential transformer. Current transformer is used to measure the high values of currents, and potential transformers are also used to measure the high values of voltages. And these are plays very important role in protecting equipments and protective circuits. I think if you can visit the and next one, lighting arresters. What is the main function of lighting arresters? Lighting arresters are used to protect the every electrical equipment from lighting surges. If you can observe at the time of cloudy time, there is a surges. During the surges, there is a huge amount of voltage and huge amount of current will release from those surges. That high amount of voltage and current directly affect on our electrical equipments like transformers, motors and substations. From those high voltage and currents, we have to protect our equipment by using lighting arresters. That is the main function of lighting arrestor. Lighting arresters are used to protect the electrical equipments from the lighting surges, lighting over voltages. Okay na? And next, coming to the fuse and circuit breaker. Already we know what is meant by fuse. Okay, fuse is used to protect our electrical network or electrical circuit from the excessive current. If for example we can take simple circuit, this is the power source, and this is the fuse element, and this is the switch, and this is the load. Okay, for example, the circuit rated current is 5 amps. Okay, 5 amps. If the load increases, what happen? If the load increases, then automatically the load current also increases. For example, the maximum available load is 5 watts, for example only. Okay na? If we can increase the load like 6, 7, 8 watts, the current flows through the circuit, the current flows through the network also increases, like 6 amps, 7 amps, 8 amps, like that. But what is the rated current here? The rated current of this circuit is only 5 amps. But what happened? There is a flow of excessive current. Due to this excessive current, the circuit will make damage. So now our target is to protect our electrical network. For that purpose, we have to use fuse in the network. Just we can insert the fuse in series with phase only. Okay. Due to this excessive current, the fuse will blows out, completely blows out. Due to this, the circuit will be open, remains open circuit. The closed circuit can be changed into open circuit. Then the fault current will falls down. Okay, that is the main purpose of fuse. And next, coming to the circuit breaker. What is the main difference between fuse and circuit breaker? Fuse can be used for low voltage applications, and circuit breaker can be used for high voltage applications. And once fuse will be blown out, it does not used for the next operations. But in the case of circuit breaker, it is used to make or break the circuit. Circuit breaker is a device used to make or break the circuit. If any fault occurs in the system, the circuit breaker will operate and to protect your equipment. After clearing the fault, the circuit breaker will again comes into the picture and the circuit will operate safely. But in the case of fuse, does not operate like a circuit breaker. Just it completely blows out due to excessive current. So it does not availability to reuse. We can take another fuse, new one, and insert it into the circuit and continue the power supply. There is no possibility to reuse the fuse. We can take another new one and put into the circuit and keep safely operate the electrical network. And next one is relay. Okay, circuit breakers and relays and CTs, PTs, indicating instruments, lighting arresters, fuses, isolators, all about these circuits we will see in the SGP's chapter also. We no need to worry about these equipments. Okay, now coming to the relay. Relay is an electromagnetic equipment. Relay is an electromagnetic equipment that sends the signal to the circuit breaker. Then only circuit breaker will operate. That means, first of all, the relay will operate whenever the fault occurs in the system. Then the signal passes to the circuit breaker and the circuit breaker remains open. Okay, that is the main function of relay. Relay sends the signal to the circuit breaker whenever fault occurs in the system. That is the main function of relay. By using all these equipments, we can do switching operations and control the power and protecting the equipments. That is the meaning of switchgear. Okay, the apparatus used for switching, controlling and protecting electrical equipment is known as switching. By using those equipments, we can control the power, we can do the switching operations, we can protect the electrical equipments. Okay, and this is the circuit breaker using SF6 and air used as a dielectric medium. SF6 means sulfur hexafluoride. The complete idea about this circuit breaker comes in the first chapter of your subject SGP. No need to worry, I will explain about everything, circuit diagram and principle of operation. This is the basic idea, practical idea. This is the basic idea about uh, this is the basic idea about practical equipment, practical designing of SF6 circuit breaker. And this is the section of switchgear panel. Switchgear, already we know what is meant by switchgear. All the equipments present in the circuit diagram. What are the equipments present here? These are the switches, and these are the indicating instruments, and these are the circuit breakers. Okay, all the equipments present here. Okay, na? That's why we can be called as switchgear panel. Okay, na? This is the one of the switchgear panel. If we can go to the substations or power plants, we can observe the control panel. Then only we have a we get a clear idea or clear picture about the section of switchgear panel. And coming to the next, this is the high voltage switchgear having lighting arresters and circuit breakers and isolators. And next, now we will see what are the important topics related to gate from this subject. Okay, for the gate exam, not only for the gate exam, used for the PSUs and other government sectors competitive exams. Okay, na? The first important topic is substation design. Okay, what are the different types of substations, what are the and what are the equipments present in the substations, like transformers, isolators. Okay, next relays. Okay, na? These are all comes under the power systems 1 subject, power system 1, substations and designing. Okay, what are the different types of substations, like 33 kV by 11 substation. Okay, 132 kV by 66 kV substation. Okay, na? And next one is operating principles of relays. Okay, operating principles of relays. This concept is will comes under the second chapter of the SGP. Okay, and over current relays also, over current relays and watt hour meter relays. Okay, na? These are all comes under the SGP subject. Okay, and next, the universal torque equations and distance relays. This is the main important topic, distance relays. Okay, na? This plays a key role in the competitive exams. We can see any competitive exams, the bits comes about only distance relays. Okay, this distance relay will comes under the 5th chapter, I think. Okay, we will see in the later discussions. And generator and transformer protection. Just we have to protect the equipments, protect the electrical equipments like generator and transformer. And we have to practice the numericals on this production of transformers and generators. And last one is circuit breakers. This is the first chapter of SGP. Okay, na? Not only on the first principles of operations of the circuit breakers, just we have to concentrate on TRV and RRRV, triple RV, and making, breaking, restriking, switching, and its rating, circuit breaker rating. Okay, na? Mainly we have to concentrate on those topics for the competitive exams. Now, what is meant by TRV? TRV means transient recovery voltage. Okay, RRRV, rate of rise of recovery voltage. rate of rise of recovery voltage. And making means we have to reconnect the circuit. Breaking means we have to disconnect the circuit. Resistance switching is used to improve the rate of rise of recovery voltage. Okay. And rating of the circuit breakers. Okay na? Mainly rating of the circuit breaker depends on, or all the circuit breakers designing depends on only fault current. Okay, these are all the main concepts comes under the all competitive exams from SGP subject, switchgear and protection subjects. Okay, just we have to concentrate deep on these topics in future. And now coming to the research trends in SGP. The main research trends includes communications, centralized versus decentralized decision making for protection versus control of power systems. That means all the researches going on now only protective equipments. That means all the researchers are going on how to extinguish the, how fast extinguish the arc in the circuit breaker. We don't know about arc and arc extinguishing methods, but in future classes, in the later classes, we will discuss what is meant by arc and what is meant by arc extinguishing methods. But the researchers are always going to remove arcs, how fast to remove the arc, and what are the methods and what are the chemicals used for removing the arcs and to protect the equipment. That is the area used for research in future. Now we will see what is the main objective of SGP. Okay, what is the main need of SGP? What is the main objective of SGP? Okay, by studying this subject, we have to know complete principles and operation of various types of circuit breakers. Okay, na? And we have to know complete idea about different types of electromagnetic relays and what are the operating principles. Okay, and we have to know what are the protecting schemes available for protecting generators, transformers. Okay, and we have to improve your knowledge about protecting schemes for feeders and bus bars. Already we know what is meant by feeder and bus bar. A bus bar is a conducting material operated with constant voltage and frequency. Okay, feeder is also a nothing but a conductor operated with constant current. Okay, and next we have to know complete idea about principles and operations of different types of static relays. In the first chapter and second chapter, we are all studied about electromagnetic relays and circuit breakers. But here we have to study the static relays. There is a difference in between static relays and electromagnetic relays. We will see later in the subject what is the difference between static relays and electromagnetic relays. Okay, and finally we have to study about what is the reasons for generating over voltages. There are many reasons: switching over voltage, lighting over voltage. Okay, these are the main things for generating over voltages. But in this subject, as per your syllabus, we have to read what are the causes to generate lighting over voltages and how to protect the systems from these over voltages, and need to know principles of different protective schemes, and what are the equipments used for protecting our electrical equipments from these over voltages. What are the equipments? Lighting arresters. Okay, lighting arresters are used to protect the electrical equipments from these high amount of voltage. And what are the types of lighting arresters are there? These are all things studied in the last chapter. And neutral grounding, what is meant by grounding, what is meant by neutral grounding, what is the effect of uh, ungrounded neutral. These are all things comes under the last chapter. Okay, these are the objectives, these are the main objectives of studying this subject. And next, coming to the syllabus provided by the university, the first unit is circuit breaker. Okay na, circuit breaker, you know what is meant by circuit breaker, and again I will explain in the next video what is meant by circuit breaker. The first chapter is complete, the first chapter gives the complete idea about circuit breakers, and what are the types of circuit breakers, what are the terminology related to circuit breakers. Okay na, and what are the operating principles. Okay, what are the dielectric medias used for extinguishing the arcs. Okay na, what are the terminology related to circuit breakers, restriking phenomenon, RRRV, rate of rise of recovery voltage, and average and maximum RRV, current chopping, resistance switching. Okay na, these are all comes under the first chapter, circuit breakers. Very very important chapter, the basic chapter of this syllabus. And coming to the next chapter, unit 2, this chapter gives the total idea about electromagnetic relays. Electromagnetic relays, what is meant by electromagnetic? The total electrical energy can be converted into magnetic energy. By using that magnetic energy we can operate the relay. That is the main thing. Okay, so this chapter provides complete operating principles and types of electromagnetic relays, and what are the terminology related to electromagnetic relays. Okay, that means the first chapter and the second chapter gives complete idea about circuit breaker and electromagnetic relays. Electromagnetic relay is the auxiliary equipment to the circuit breaker. That means this is the auxiliary chapter to the first chapter, circuit breaker. Okay, these are the main two equipments, circuit breaker and electromagnetic relay are the main equipments in the protective system. And coming to the third chapter, unit 3, protection of generators and protection of transformers. Here we have to see what are the protecting schemes are there for protecting the generators from stator faults and rotor faults and interturn faults, and also see the what are the protecting schemes and what are the protective equipments there for protecting transformers. The generators can be protected by using earth fault relays, interturn fault relays, but in the case of transformer we are using Buchholz relay. That is the main important relay, Buchholz relay, and percentage differential protection. Those things are used to protect the transformers. Here CTs and PTs are plays an important role, very very important role, we will see. So the third chapter gives the complete idea about protection of generators and transformers, protective schemes used for generators and transformers. Okay, and next, coming to the fourth chapter gives the complete idea about protecting schemes of bus bar and feeder. Already we know what is meant by bus bar and feeder. Bus bar means bus bar is a conductor operated with constant voltage and constant frequency, and feeder is also a nothing but a conductor operated with constant current. Here also we have to protect feeder and bus bar by using different types of relays. In this chapter we have to concentrate about differential protection and zone distance relay. That means impedance relay or distance relay. That is the main thing. This distance relay concept is mostly useful for all competitive exams, not only GATE, but also used for PSUs and also other competitive exams. We will see complete description of distance relay in this chapter. I will explain everything, no need to worry. And coming to the fifth chapter. Fifth chapter deals with static and digital relays. Fifth chapter deals with static relays and digital relays. In the second chapter, we are studied about electromagnetic relays, but here we are studied about static and digital relays. There is a small difference between static and digital relays and electromagnetic relays. In the case of electromagnetic relays, there is a moving parts presented in the electromagnetic relays, but in the case of static relays, there is no movable parts. That's why you can be called as static relays. But in the case of electromagnetic relays, there is a movable parts, contacts. Okay, na? Contacts are there. So the operating time of the electromagnetic relays always very high, and accuracy of the electromagnetic relays are very high. Sorry, the accuracy of the electromagnetic relays are very less. Operation is also very less. Operating time, that means operating time also very less, and accuracy of the system also very less. To overcome those things, to overcome those disadvantages by using static and digital relays. In this static and digital relays, there is no movable parts. Due to this, the accuracy of the system will be increases and operating time also very less. That's why we are studying about static and digital relays. And the final chapter and sixth chapter is deals with protection against over voltage and grounding. Here we have to study how the over voltage will be generated and how to protect our electrical equipment from these high voltages, and what is meant by neutral grounding, and what is meant by different types of neutral groundings, and what is the effect of ungrounded neutral. Okay, na? The sixth chapter gives the complete idea about these things. Okay, that is the whole syllabus. Okay, first chapter gives the complete idea about circuit breakers, and the second chapter gives complete idea about electromagnetic relays, and the third chapter gives the complete idea about protection of transformers and alternators, and the fourth chapter gives complete idea about protecting schemes of bus bars and faders, and the fifth chapter gives the complete idea about static and digital relays, and the sixth chapter gives complete idea about protection of electrical equipments against over voltage and neutral grounding. Okay, na? For this SGP, we are all prefer the textbook Badari Ram and DN Viswakarma by TMH Publications. TMH. For this SGP, we are all refer the textbooks Badari Ram and DN Viswakarma, TMH Publications. We can see here. This is the textbook. Almost 70% of the subject present in the textbook. Okay, as per your JNTU syllabus. Here we can see some reference books. These are mainly used to prepare for the competitive exams. We can get extra knowledge from these textbooks by using these references. Okay, and next, now we will see need of protection system. That means why we have to protect the electrical equipments. Why? What is the main need of protecting system? For that, we have to know simply about fault analysis. For that, I am considering one line diagram of transmission system here. This is the single line diagram of transmission system. Here we can observe this is the generating station, and these are all called as the substations. Okay, this is the total single line diagram of the transmission system. Okay, now the whole transmission system can be divided into four parts: primary transmission system, secondary transmission system, primary distribution system, and secondary distribution system. Generally, already we know about those things. Generally, 11 kV or 33 kV is generated at a power plant. Immediately, that voltage can be converted into high voltage by using power transformer 400 kV or 220 kV. And then next, that voltage can be decreased to 66 kV according to our requirement. And next, that 66 kV can be converted into 33 kV. And next 33 kV or 11 kV can be converted into 440 volts 3 phase and 220 volts single phase. These are the consumer prices. Here I am saying about what are the equipments present in the line diagram. Mainly concentrate what are the main equipments present in the transmission and distribution system. Just we can observe this diagram. What are the equipments present in this system? Here we can observe this is the generating station. Generating station mainly contains generators, alternators or AC generators. And transmission and distribution system contains transformers. Okay, here it is the transformer. Here it is also a transformer. Here it is also a transformer. Here it is also a transformer. And coming to the load side, here we are all using motors, electrical motors, induction motors, synchronous motors, single phase induction motors. These are different types of motors. Those different types of motors can be used as a load, consumer premises. Okay, that means we are using generators, transformers and motors. We have to protect these equipments by using some electrical equipments. Okay na? For that we have to see fault analysis. First of all, we need to know what is meant by fault. Okay, what is meant by fault? A fault is a defect in any electrical network due to which current is diverted from the original path. That means if you can take any electrical circuit, simple electrical circuit, I am taking here simple electrical circuit here. This is the source voltage and this is the load and this is the line inductor. Okay, the current path is from higher potential to lower potential through load. Okay, from positive to negative through load. This is the path for the current. If in case any fault occurs in the network, for example, if the fault occurs at this point, this is the symbol for fault, at this point, then the diversion of the current will be changes. The direction of the current will be changes. Actual path of the current is like this, but now what is the direction? The direction will be changes. The flow of current through fault point, not through the load. That is the meaning of fault. Due to this fault, what happened? The direction, the original path of the current will be changes. That is the main definition for the fault. And what are the faults present in the power system? There are different types of faults: open circuit faults and short circuit faults. Okay, now we will see what is meant by open circuit fault and what is meant by short circuit fault and what are the types of faults. Okay, open circuit faults. Open circuit faults means opening the circuit. That means open circuit faults due to opening of conductors. Due to opening of conductors. For example, if you can assume one small network, generally transmission lines are presented on the top of the tower like this. Here it is the tower and transmission lines are present here. These three are the transmission lines. If there is any joint to the transmission line nearer to the tower, If this joint fails, then what happen? The conductor falls down and touches to the ground. This is the open circuit fault. Due to this open circuit fault, the system will goes into the unbalanced system. Unbalanced system. Unbalanced system means these two phases operated with same magnitude of currents, but this phase will not operated with same current magnitude of this phase and this phase. For example, if you can take one three-phase system, if you can take one three-phase system, phase R Y B, R Y B. Here conductor is open in this conductor, okay, R phase. Then current flows through the R phase is 0, I1 equal to 0. But Y phase and B phase are operated with healthy. So the current flows through the Y phase and current flows through the B phase are not equal to 0, and I2 equal to I3. Okay na? This system is comes under the unbalanced system. If phase R is not open in case, then what is the condition? I1 equal to I2 equal to I3. Those three magnitudes are equal. Okay, this is the indication of balanced system. But what happened here? Due to opening of conductor, due to open circuit fault, conductor R or phase R will be opened. Due to opening of R phase, the current flows through the I1 equal to 0. Okay, but I2 equal to I3, current flows through the Y phase and current flows through the B phase are always equal. That means I2 equal to I3 and I1 equal to 0. This is the unbalancing of the system. If you can take a star connected load, for example, okay, if you can take star connected load, then what happen? In that star connected circuit, due to this unbalancing conditions, there is a presence of negative sequence currents. Negative sequence current. Just wait, I will explain. Negative sequence currents. Negative sequence currents. Already we have clear idea about different types of sequences: positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence. Okay, there is a negative sequence currents flows to the system given star connected load. Due to this negative sequence currents, the system will get higher amount of heat. Due to this, the system will may damage. That is the main problem of open circuit faults. Due to this open circuit faults, what happen? Negative sequence currents or negative sequence components are circulated in the system. Due to this, huge amount of heat developed in the system. Okay, and next, in the case of alternators or motors, in the case of alternators or motors, what happen? Just wait. In the case of motor, we can take, this is the stator and this is the rotor. In between stator and rotor, electromagnetic field rotated with synchronous speed, ns. Already we know about three-phase induction motor. Okay na? Rotating magnetic field rotated with synchronous speed in the air gap. This is the air gap. Okay, this is the complete air gap. In this air gap, the electromagnetic field revolves with synchronous speed. For example, we can assume positive sequence components are revolving in clockwise direction. Then negative sequence components are revolving in anti-clockwise direction. With respect to rotor only, with respect to rotor, those components are revolving with synchronous speed. Okay na? Then what is the relative speed between negative sequence component and positive sequence component. ns, this is the positive sequence component speed minus of negative sequence component speed, ns minus of ns, that means 2ns. What happened here? The total relative speed will be increases, synchronous speed will be increases. Due to this, the induced EMF in the motor will also increases. Due to this negative sequence component, the induced currents in the motor also increases, that means 2 times the synchronous speed. Due to this high amount of induced EMFs, high amount of current flows through the circuit. Due to this high currents, huge amount of heat developed in the system, and the system may get damage. That is the main thing about negative sequence components. When the negative sequence components comes into the picture, whenever open circuit faults occurs in the system. In the case of transmission line, open circuit faults occurs by opening of conductor. But in the case of motors, what happen? In the case of motors or generators, there is a presence of winding, stator winding and rotor winding. Okay, if there is any fault occurs in the stator or rotor windings, there is a chances of opening of conductor. Due to that, negative sequence components will generated in the system. Okay, this is the complete explanation about open circuit faults. And coming to the short circuit faults, there are different types of short circuit faults: line to line faults, line to ground faults, triple line faults, and double line to ground faults, and triple line to ground faults. These are the types of short circuit faults. Okay, now what are the main causes of occurring these faults? We will see what are the types of faults, short circuit faults, and what are the reasons occurring of these faults. For example, if you can take three-phase transmission system, if you can take three-phase transmission lines, this is the three-phase transmission system. And this is the three-phase transmission line. Okay, R phase, Y phase, B phase. Now we will see what is meant by line to ground faults. Line to ground fault. Line to ground fault means any one of these three conductors touches to ground. Okay, touches to ground. Then it can be called as line to ground fault. Not only R phase, but also Y phase and B phase also. If you can take B phase touches to ground, then it can be called as line to ground fault. Okay, and next, line to ground fault and line to line fault. If the fault occurs, if the fault occurs in between R phase and Y phase, then it can be called as line to line fault. The line to line fault occurs here is in between R phase and Y phase. Okay, or otherwise Y to B. This is the fault in between Y phase and B phase. That is the meaning of line to line fault. And next one is triple line fault. Triple line fault means all the three phases are in contact with each other. This is the very dangerous fault. Very, very dangerous fault. Due to this, huge amount of current will be generated and huge amount of heat will be generated. Due to this huge amount of heat, the system may get damage. Okay, but this type of faults very, very less chances to occur. The most common faults are line to ground faults. The most commonly occurring faults are line to ground faults only. Okay na? This is the complete idea about line to ground faults, line to line faults, triple line faults, and triple line to ground faults. All the conductors in contact with each other and also in contact with ground, then it can be called as triple line to ground faults. These are all comes under the short circuit faults. And now we will see what are the main reasons occurring the short circuit faults. Okay. Now we will see what are the main reasons for occurring of short circuit faults in the transmission line. Okay, if you can assume one tree nearby transmission line conductors. Generally we can see roadside all the trees behind the transmission lines. If the branch of the tree falls on the line, then what happen? All these three conductors are comes in contact. Due to this, triple line fault will occur. Otherwise, if any branch of the tree falls on these two conductors, then what happen? Line to line fault will occur. Otherwise, in general, we are observing any bird or any animal like snake or any bird will take rest on any one of the in between any two conductors. Then what happen? There is a short circuit between those two conductors and line to line fault will occur. Okay, these are the main reasons. Ante what are those reasons? If the branches of the trees will falls on the lines of the transmission system, then automatically there is a fault, triple line fault or line to line fault. And another cause is if any bird or animal take the rest on the conductor in between two conductors, then fault will occur. That fault can be called as line to line fault. Now we will see complete description about faults and their causes. Here, what are the causes of faults? Insulation, sorry, here not a induction failure, insulation failure or conducting path failure. If for example we can take a transmission line system, what happen? All the transmission lines are supported on the insulator only, Here this is the supporting pole and this is the cross arm and this is the insulator and this is the transmission line conductor. If due to this moisture, what happen? The ice or dust particles deposited on the insulator. That time what happen? Due to this ice or dust particles, the insulator may get damaged. Due to damage of this insulator, the line conductor will directly in contact with cross arm and that cross arm is connected to the supporting pole, that means connected to the ground. That is the main reason, insulation failure for the occurring of fault. And second one is conducting path failure. Okay, and coming to the transmission lines, there are two types of faults, open circuit faults and short circuit faults. Already explained about that. Open circuit faults due to breaking of conductors at the joints. Due to this open circuit faults, what happen? Negative sequence currents will flow into the circuit. Due to this, heat will be generated. That is the main problem. Lighting surges or switching surges causes flashover on the insulator. Due to this flashover, insulator will make damage and it leads to line to ground faults. And next, external objects falling on the transmission line like tree branches
bots and snakes, etc. Due to this, what happen? Line to line faults will may happen. But in the case of cables and generators and motors and transformers, there are several causes for failure of insulations. These are aging effect and moisture, heat, over voltage, mechanical damage, accidental contact with earth terminal with phase terminal. Some more causes are there, that is failure of excitation and primer. If the if excitation is fails to give the supply, then what happen? Output of the alternator will may disturb. Those are the causes of faults in the generator, motor and transformer. And next we have to conclude that due to the fast faults there are several effects. First one is heavy currents causes overheating, high mechanical forces, and hence may damage the environment. Not only damage the environment and also damage the equipment. And second point is arcs associated with short circuit may result in fire hazards. That means the device will may blow. Okay. And coming to the next point, already we know what happened in the sense of open circuit fault. Negative sequence currents causes overheating of rotating machine. By open circuit fault, what happened? Negative sequence currents will generated in the machine. Then the generator or motor will may get overheating. Okay. And fourth point is loss of system stability. Due to open circuit or short circuit faults, the system stability will may disturb. And next final point is revenue losses due to interruption of power. If any fault, either it may be open circuit fault or short circuit fault will occur in the system, then what happen? The power supply to the consumer will may interrupted. Then what happen? The consumer does not consume the electricity from the electricity company. Due to this, the electrical company will face revenue losses. This is the main important point. And now we have to conclude that most of the faults occur in warhead lines. 50% of the faults are occur in warhead lines. And in the case of underground cables, there are very less chances of faults occur. Only 9% of faults will occur in the underground cables. And in the case of transformer, only 10% of chances are there for occurring of faults. And generators, in the case of generators, only 7% of faults will occur in the system. And in the case of switchgear, like isolators and circuit breakers, only 12% of faults will occur. And control equipments, in the control equipment we have only chances of 12%. Okay, these are the most percentage of faults occur in each and every equipment. And last one is, here we can observe the most dangerous fault is triple line fault. This fault will occur very rare, only 2% of probability is there for triple line fault. But most commonly occurring fault is line to ground fault. There is a chance of 85% to occurring of this fault. And the remaining line to line fault, coming to the line to line fault, only 8% of probability is there, and double line to ground fault only 5% of probability is there. From this I am concluded that we have to protect our equipment from those faults, line to ground faults, line to line faults, double line to ground faults and triple line faults. We should protect our equipment. For that we are using switchgear and protection equipment and protection scheme. That is the reason we are studying the subject SGP, switchgear and protection. In the next class we will start with the first chapter. Thank you.